Hi there, my name's Chow. I'm carrying an iPad. I've got a name badge. I'm wearing a blue t-shirt. I don't work for Apple. I'm actually going to sell you something you need. Okay? We came up with Little Sick, just to explain Little Sick. When a paramedic, I work for the ambulance service, when a paramedic gets into a scene, the first thing they're trying to establish is the patient big sick or little sick. Big sick is probably about 10% of the time, so your arm's fallen off, whatever it may be. Little sick is sprained ankle. Okay? So the purpose of the app is to give the ambulance crew the ability to find alternatives to A&E for little sick people. Okay? Just to give you the main benefit up front, the ambulance service takes 500,000 people a year into A&E. Around about half of them should not be in A&E. We're talking about 250,000 patients every year. Okay, massive potential use of this sort of app for a lot of people, entering the NHS. Okay. In terms of demonstrating the app, so we got our paramedic, David Fitzpatrick. He's just about to be called out. He gets called out. Someone has fallen. 80-year-old woman just down the street. She's fallen. She's got a bruised shoulder. David gets there. What do I do? Right, it's not big sick, it's little sick, okay? So he thinks to himself, right, okay, what are my options? Opens the app, we go, right, okay, straight off the bat, GP won't do it, so take that off. Pharmacy won't do it, take that off. The remaining might search. Based on GPS, the options then come up, okay? So we've got an A&E nearby, we've got an MIU nearby, MIU, and the Western General, and we've got the distance they are, and we've sorted them by distance, so you get the nearest one at the top. It's color-coded, so red is the highest level of acuity, etc. Orange the next, and then minor injuries is the lowest acuity, so it goes into the yellow category. So he thinks, right, A&E is my default, let's have a look at that. I can call A&E, it's open 24/7, there's the address, postcode, etc. But I kind of don't want to go to A&E in this instance, so can I do something else? Back he goes. MIU, let's have a look at that. Oh, right, MIU number. There's the opening hours. Here's the acceptance criteria to get into MIU. So, I have to rule out syncope, yep. ECG abnormality, yep. Anticoagulants, yep, that's fine. Oh look, I can phone ahead. I can pre-prepare them for the fact that it's an 85-year-old woman who's fallen and has got a bruise on her shoulder. I can arrange geriatric consult to be there when I arrive. Great, I'll do that, and off I go. Okay, that's the basic use of the app. It has many other potential applications for many other types of condition, but we kept it quite simple to start with. It's useful, as I said, huge potential application, huge support for the staff. So the ambulance crew actually has support in finding the best option for the patient. I'm planning on taking this to the Scottish Government, to the eHealth division. This is absolutely the sort of thing they should be doing, and it's absolutely something they should be doing open source, and I'm keen on selling that. We've made it usable. This is ambulance proof. It's not meant for the best design in the world. It's red, it's yellow, it's orange, bright. You don't have to put any data in. You don't have to type. Very few clicks. Very quick result. Very needed. Very good at meeting that very specific, very narrow need. So it's very much as David's specifications. I am a paramedic. I need it simple. I need it quick. Okay. I'll hand over if you want to.
Hello guys, my name's Chris. I was working on some of the back-end stuff where we actually worked out where help for the paramedics actually was. Just disappeared. Jesus, okay. One of the key things we realised we were doing here is actually create something which is probably useful to people who are more than just paramedics. So there may be GPs who might find this useful. We've seen a project called Quick Help, which you would also find this useful actually. So what we actually did was basically break this down. So we actually had a service that a web app can actually be used, and we actually had it available in a format that can be used by other people with other apps or things we haven't really thought of yet. The key thing was to kind of get some data, get some data that already exists inside the NHS that is already providing some valuable service, and find another way of making that useful or making that more valuable. So one example was making it available down here. But anyone who wants to actually use this data, which is publicly available already, but we're in a difficult to actually use format. It's now available in a machine readable fashion. We've also actually did a lot of the initial data work, so that as a mobile, then with a mobile device can do exactly what the paramedic can do, but for different use cases. So that's it, the same data made useful by many more people.
This is an iPhone app. How open source friendly is that? Do you have to go through Apple's App Store, or can you just have a program that people can install on their own iPhone?
So the one thing we did for the user interface is we chose the iPhone because David happens to have an iPhone. This is not actually an iPhone app, it's a web app that displays on the iPhone. So we can actually use that on any device at the moment, but we've actually built the app in such a way that we could build a native app, iPhone, Android, whatever else, that would pick up the data and still use the same logic as everywhere else. So it's very much portable to whatever devices you have.
What happens in the absence of GPS?
When
you're in the middle of Glasgow, or by the way, when you're in the middle of Glasgow, your GPS will fail. In theory, would the app default to say, okay, go to big hospital X?
The first thing I would say is we were aware of that. The ambulances themselves have their own inbuilt sat-nav and other functionality, so that they could derive postcode from wherever the ambulance is.
Because you've got other equipment, not necessarily just a device.
Yeah, so this is very much a parallel use case to our own infrastructure.
So if you just had time to look through all there, we basically started getting the source data visible as much as we could to actually answer all these questions, to actually basically find out where we're actually going to have embarrassing questions to answer in front of you, just like this actually. So we used some teams to actually do this and start prototyping on some paper and actually talk through this stuff. So that was the key thing. There are going to be...
Yeah, so one of our iterations explicitly says we could have a postcode entry field instead of a GPS location.
Yes, sir.
As a nurse, how do we persuade the NHS that bring your own device is a good idea?
I've been fighting this particular battle for quite a while. Let's put it this way, NHS Scotland just put out a procurement request, bill, whatever you call it, for tablet computers for the entire NHS Scotland. So there's actually now essentially procured tablet, if you like. So I see that as a first step to...
For every member of staff?
Sorry?
For every member of staff?
Well, but you know, they've set it up so that anyone in NHS can buy a kind of pre-assured, quality-assured, security-assured platform, if you like.
Because I know, I mean, my managers get blackberries,
yeah.
And they can take these around and they can make appointments with other managers and that. I can't take that into an appointment with a patient.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and go in Outlook and log my appointments and pass that all on. You know, these devices are just fantastic, but we've got a big argument on resourcing these things, and I mean, the whole idea of an ambulance member of staff having a device in their pocket, they probably do, but how does that get built into the...
I just want to answer that particular one. We have our own tablets with a part of our own infrastructure. We're redeveloping that as we speak, and the appeal of this being a web-based solution is I can now go back to our own design people and say we need to build in functionality where we can just call down this onto the tablet without having to make it part of our own infrastructure, if you like. So for paramedic purposes, they shouldn't need their own device. So just for that very specific thing, yeah, we're sorted.
I'm not going to go eat it.
For nursing, I couldn't even start to dismantle it.
That's really great. Thanks so much for that.